In a nutshell, in the highest level possible, human design is a self-discovery tool. Why is it then that we are all expected to operate in the exact same way? The things that we want are the things that we are most afraid to have. You can't optimize something that's broken, right? You're not weird, you're not broken, nothing, absolutely nothing.
Hey, Queen. Welcome to the She Elevates podcast. I'm your host, Liz Rankin, your favorite elevation bestie who's been through it, healed from it, and came back stronger with a mission. This podcast is your safe space and soul sanctuary where we talk real about relationships, motherhood, money, mindset, and everything in between. So if you're ready to reclaim your power, reconnect your purpose, and rewrite your story, let's get into it. Adina, welcome to the She Elevates podcast. I'm super excited to have you here today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. This is exciting.
Yeah, I'm super excited. We've had a lot of great conversations already. I feel like there's like a bestie friendship brewing. Why don't you introduce yourself to the listeners of the She Elevates podcast?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm Adina. I am a German living in the UK, and I am a business and identity coach. And I use Human Design NLP and identity work to make sure that I'm basically becoming the secret weapon.
Well, with everything you just said, I'm like, this is top secret stuff, because a lot of the listeners, they might have no idea what some of those acronyms are, but we are going to dive into it today because it's all juicy. So let's get into exactly what is human design. If you can just kind of break that down on a third grade level, I like to put things.
100%. In a nutshell, in the highest level possible, human design is a self-discovery tool. It uses several different modalities. It uses astrology, it uses the I Ching, the Kabbalah, quantum physics, and it creates a map of how you are designed to best flow through the world. So if I give you an example, we all understand and we all agree that biologically our DNA is different. Even identical twins have like a... So why is it then that we are all expected to operate in the exact same way? And human design gives us a map of how we are uniquely designed energetically as a human being. It's almost like your energetic DNA, if you will.
I love that. That's so good. Wow, so much to uncover. So you are teaching it to adults, I'm guessing, in business. Is that correct? And what does that look like? Like, when I think of that, I'm like, I go heavy on the school system, right? Because I feel like, number one, we were all conditioned to believe and think the same way. And number two, as a parent now with my kids in the school system, I'm like, no, the school system messed me up so badly. I don't want this to happen to them, right? So do you see this as like something maybe being integrated into the world as a whole, where they look at, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're like, yes, people are different. They say that, but then they're all taught the same, have to sit in chairs the same, have to learn math the same way. What are you thinking big picture for the whole world about human design?
How much time have you got?
Yeah, I know.
Do you know?
So true. We'll have to have a part two.
Do you know what? I'm up for it. Yes to everything you just said. I would love for human design to become a lot more mainstream than it is right now. I would love for human design to become a modality that's taught. Because to give you an example, I think many of us entrepreneurs feel the same way. I call it like the entrepreneur quote unquote disease, right? It's not a disease, but I haven't found a better name for it yet. But all of us entrepreneurs rarely, there are exceptions, rarely worked well in school. We weren't the ones who like just sitting and learning by heart. We weren't the ones who like being told what to do. We weren't the ones who like, we did things differently and it worked, but we ruffled some fucking
yeah, got us through.
right? And it's just
got me through with like B's and C's, but then there were questionable things like, why aren't you doing your homework and whatever else?
Right. And so, for instance, on the quest of homework, it's like I was the person who did her homework like 5 minutes before class. I did it in the bus in the morning. And
that's free.
I found out through my human design, well, that's how I'm designed to work. If I don't have a strict deadline, then I will wait until the very last minute until
Oh
it goes,
my gosh.
right? Because I have a defined route. This is going into a little bit
Yeah.
more detail, but like, imagine if we started understanding these things that, for instance, if you have a defined route, you're actually really good at working in pressure. You're very good in high level stress environments. Again, that's another example that I have. Maybe you relate. I don't know if you have a defined route, but if you do, I know that as a child, before I knew human design, you know, when your parents give you things to do and then they say something like, well, you can't be bored. You can't be bored enough, or you can't have enough to do because otherwise you wouldn't be bored. And so they give you more
Yeah.
things to do.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what happened a lot to me as a child, where my mum was just like, I'm bored. And she's just like, well, if you're bored, I'm going to give you more things to do. So I learned
Yeah.
over the years into adulthood, well, in order for people to stop giving me more things to do, I need to look stressed. And eventually
Oh my gosh, really?
yeah. So,
I feel what you're saying, but I didn't realize what it was to get out of it. So here I am at 40, like, still give me some things.
yeah. And I mean, there are like nuances to it. There could be an
Wow.
identity level, or it could be part of your energetic makeup when we go back to the human design part. And I, I work really well in high stress environments. I don't like it.
Yeah.
People with defined roots don't like it, but we're good at it. That also means we need an equal break, right? So we have high stress
Mm.
environments, and then we're just like, yeah, I'm just going to be a couch potato for like 3 days. And then you have the energy,
Oh my God.
right? And then you get up and
Yeah.
you sit on the sofa, and then all of a sudden you're like mid watching Bridgerton, and you're like, I need to clean the house right now. And if I don't do that, I don't do
Oh
that,
my God.
right? And that's kind of like the energy of the defined root. So I went into a little bit of a tangent, but that's just explaining why I think hopefully in a roundabout way answered the question of like, do you think it should be included in the script? Like, I wish it was, because if
Yeah.
known about me as a child that I need deadlines, I need that strict deadline.
Yeah.
There are loads of, I have to pace myself because otherwise I'm like, let's unpack human design in its
Yeah,
exact.
no, let's go down the rabbit hole. No, I feel the same way. And I didn't realize it like until friends are like, hey, can you do this for me? Or like, I have this sewing project I need to do for my daughter's play. And I'm like, as soon as she hands me the stuff, I'm like, I need a deadline. Otherwise, I will push it until 5 minutes before we're on stage and there's a crowd, like a paid crowd. Like, I need a deadline. And I didn't realize, like, this is the first time you are the first person, Adina, that has said, I need a deadline. I'm sure I've met people, but I've never heard that people had that struggle. So I feel like, okay, I'm not alone anymore in this.
No, you're not.
So very interesting. I think you told me there's a test that we can take, right, to figure out what our human design is, or how do we know?
It's not a test. You basically Google human design. It's free. Don't ever pay to have your chart done, ever.
Okay.
You just Google human design chart, and then you put in basically what you put in for astrology as well, like your birthday, birth month, birth year, birth time, and birth place.
Okay.
And it calculates it. And then you get a map, and it looks incredibly difficult, but you don't have to worry about it. You just need the keynotes that it says on there, where it says, what's your type? What's your something? And then if you ever wanted to have a reading, then there are people who do readings, then they can explain the chart. But yeah, you can research a lot on your own.
Oh, wow. So it's that simple. Just your birth date, where you were born. How accurate have you seen this be in you've been doing this for what?
A while, since
A lot
2019.
of years. 2019.
2019,
Yeah.
yeah.
6 years, 7 years.
Yeah. If the birth time is accurate, and I'm very careful to speak in absolutes and be like, it is the most accurate. There are moments where we don't resonate with our chart, and that can be twofold. Sometimes there is the wrong birth time, because you can have, like, if the birth time is wrong, then obviously the place can change.
Yeah.
I know I've tried to do a birth chart with an adopted child once, and we sort of did like several different ones. But again, it can only be so accurate unless you know it.
Mm-hmm.
You do know your time, and the time is important. I do find it to be very accurate. But at the end of the day, it's never gospel. It's always like, take what works and leave what doesn't. That's ultimately why I like it.
Yeah, I feel like it's almost like I have this decision theory. I'm working on a book right now. The working title is Girl, Just Make the Damn Decision. And I hear what you're saying, because my concept is like, you just need to decide, have something to work with, get like feedback from it, and then see if it actually applies, if it doesn't. But we're so flexible as human beings. I wonder, like, if you feel like it didn't apply, but then you think about it for the next few weeks and you're like, oh shoot, that actually kind of is me and I didn't even realize it. So it feels like over time you might become more relatable, because also a lot of us are healing, right? And who you are unhealed is not the person that maybe that human design, you've thought you are this way for however long, but maybe because you're not fully healed, that you feel like that human design piece doesn't fit. So do you work with clients that are on a healing journey and maybe they don't really know who they are, or they're trying to uncover exactly who they are?
Yeah. So primarily who I mainly market to is 6 to 7 figure founders who generally find that they have kind of hit a roadblock in their business. But I do also, people also resonate with the general message because it is applicable to whoever finds it. And so the idea of human design is that we really understand, okay, well, this is not the ultimate way, but this is the easiest way that you're designed, right? So an easy example I can take is you're born a blonde person. And this is maybe not the best example, but I'm just going to, like, you're born a blonde person, but you're like, I don't want to be a blonde person. I want to be a black haired person, right? And so, you're not designed to be a black haired person, but you dye your hair. And so there's an extra step. Does that mean you're living out of alignment? No. But right, so the same thing is true for human design. It's like there is a blueprint for how you're best designed to work, but also if you don't follow every single step, like, it's okay if it still works.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people who are living in what we would call the not self in human design, and they're still successful, but they just have a lot more friction, right? There's a lot more friction, and that's okay if that is something if that's a sacrifice that they're willing to make. And
Sure.
yeah, I mean, even for the decision making that you just mentioned, there are designs on who is designed to make decisions quicker, how we're designed to make decisions. So there's like so much nuance.
Yeah.
Who are we as a person? And can we stop feeling bad about me never feeling 100% certain, which is, again, I'm an emotional decision maker by design.
This is true. Right? Yeah. So you got to look at that perspective as well.
Whereas my partner is what we call a splenic decision maker. A sacral and a splenic decision maker. So he makes decisions in the moment. He makes them quite fast, and I don't. I have to like feel into it, and I have to kind of see, because when I'm in emotional high, I will say yes to everything. I'll be like, and you get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car.
Right.
Right. And then I'll take every invite to the party, and half an hour later, I'm like, what the fuck have I just agreed to?
That's like me with having play dates at my house. Before I know it, there's like 2 of them here, and then there's 6, 7, 8. It just keeps growing. And then all my snacks are gone. I literally got back from the store and I had to replenish snacks. And then I wake up this morning a little bit snappy, and I'm like, what's going on with me?
Yeah.
Well, you were overwhelmed for like 6 hours.
Right. So, yeah.
Very interesting.
100%.
I think you've just inspired a new chapter in my book. It has to be about decision making with human design, because I'm going to go down a rabbit hole after this episode. This is so good. So easy.
And my work here is done.
No, I need more. Tell me about these. So how does it equate to the business owner who you said they're kind of plateaued. They're trying to figure out, how do I get to the next level? How do they elevate in their business? So maybe paint the picture of 1 or 2 of them that you see most often coming to you for help.
100%. When you have a business, and it's different whether you don't have a team or you do have a team, obviously depends on where you're at. But say you have a certain revenue turnover every month where you make like 10, 15 grand a month, and you turn it over, maybe even a little bit less depending on the size of your team. But you get to a point where you might have built your business on outdated identity patterns. And this is sort of like, especially like as millennials, anyone has identity patterns, right? Like what is the belief that I have, how the world works, and what is the behavior that drives it? And so for most business owners, we see that there is this belief that, well, unless I work hard, I am not valuable. Unless I'm constantly productive, everything fall apart. I am the business. If my team or my clients don't like me, then I'm a fucking failure. Then I'm not lovable. Then I'm not good enough, right? So you get the idea of what I mean with the beliefs, the identity patterns. So
Yeah.
imagine you build a business like this to a turnover of like 500,000 a year or more, and you have a business owner, a founder who sits there, who outwardly looks successful, but who hates themselves, who is so pressured, who is so overwhelmed, who their marriage is in shambles because they come home late every day and they're like, well, what the hell do you, right? So they're angry all the time and they're like, well, I don't know what I want. And all they know is, okay, well, I know something needs to change. So how can I optimize? How can I get more revenue? How can I do this? And the thing is, they're always looking for external things, but really, like, you can't optimize something that's broken, right?
Yeah.
Not the person is broken, but we need to always look at the identity levels, just like, what are the decisions that got you this way? So then they come to me, and this is where I look at, okay, well, first of all, how are you designed to actually operate? If you're a projector, manifester, or reflector, and you are trying to churn out $97 offers on a one-to-many, it's not going to, not often, not saying it never, but it rarely works.
This is wild because I'm in so many different coaching programs and I am a coach, women starting their businesses. And I see this so often. And I think back to like the coaching mentorship that I had in the past. And I was like, well, why did that coach not work for me? And then this one did. This coach didn't work for me. This one did. So that's very interesting.
Yeah, it depends on your design. So I even started with not knowing my human design, and I was in this high-end mastermind. And the thing is, like, I had a lot of healing done when it came to that, but I went through this whole program. I was the perfect student and I did everything that she said. But at the end of it, I'm like, I'm not really getting it. And then it turns out it's just like, I think she started working on human design back then. She initiated it, said, hey, do you know your human design? And then it turns out that actually I was a projector. She's a manifesting generator. So she's just like, well, yeah, then you probably will find that doesn't, like, my methods don't work that well for you. I was in the beginning and very bitter about it in the beginning because I'm like, I spent all of this money, but now I'm like, oh, it got me. I wouldn't have learned it otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah. That's such a beautiful way to look at it because a lot of people would hold that resentment like forever. Like, I want to get my money back. How do I like make such a big complaint about this and make them finally refund the money? But good and bad, like even like relationships, I had a terrible relationship. I am not angry at my ex-husband. Like, I'm not angry that he's not here for my children and I'm just doing it on my own. Just like, this is how it is. This is the fact. He's not here and I'm a single mom doing it. It's the same thing with the mentorships that I was in. And I was like, that didn't work out. I feel like I wasted $8,000, but also I actually gained so much from that experience. And maybe it's the catalyst that makes you be like, oh, I actually want to get into human design. I want to uncover this. How can I then help other people with the same struggle that I was in? So that's beautiful. I love it. We just got to get more people to do that. So listeners.
Yeah, we do. And I mean, it's a mixed bag, right? Like, it's the energetics and it's the identity behind it. I think your original question is how does it work? What do they come with? And it's not just that. It's the energetics. Well, okay, well, if I know that I only have one hand instead of two hands, yeah, it sucks, but how can I make it work? Right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that there's always like a handicap. I don't have great metaphors for these things yet, so let's just roll.
Well, there are studies on it. Like, there are a lot of studies, like, especially if maybe you did have two hands and then you lost one. And they say within a certain amount, I don't want to say how long. I swear it was under a year, though. They're like, you're just as successful and you're just like, people are like, oh, you must be depressed for the rest of your life. They're actually just as happy. Like, as long as you find that resilience piece in it, where it's like, I'm not going to fester on how I lost my arm. I'm going to move forward because life doesn't stop. And for me, like, every chapter has gotten so much damn better. I'm like, Give me that challenge. I cannot wait for the next challenge because there's just so much personal growth in that. And that's exciting for me. I also crave chaos.
Do you know what? That's also something that I work with founders on. It's this craving chaos, and it's always the balance of sometimes it's good because it means that you're always going into there. But then I have some founders who crave the chaos, and then they create the chaos because without it they feel bored.
Yes, that was my relationship.
Like there's so much there to unpack, and like so many identity.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, it's interesting that you said that because that's another thing that people come to me with, and it's just so fascinating. I love the brain.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It really is. Yeah. I wouldn't say like my child. So I tried to like uncover why is chaos. Maybe it's not chaos. Maybe it's just the pressure that I enjoy of like you were speaking about, like getting a lot done within a certain period of time. But being in a 15-year, like really bad relationship, there was always chaos. And had a hard time dating after that because I was like, you're not, we'd be sitting on the couch and something would spill and I'm like, you're not going to get upset about that? Like, what's wrong with you? I would expect, I'm used to someone like freaking out or whatever else. And then I was like, I felt like there were little times where I'm just like, this is getting really boring. Maybe I just need to create and I wouldn't say those words, but subconsciously I know I was like looking for just like a little poke, a little reaction, like, but that's healed for the most part.
Great
But
work.
it's just so interesting. Like you said, the mind, right?
Yeah. Great work on that because it's like it takes so long to even get this. Plus, first of all, accepting that we do this.
Yeah, that part. I was like, no, I'm great. I'm perfect. It was all his fault.
Yeah, I'm the person who used to bolt when something got too boring. I would like,
oh,
like the second
just disappear.
The second thing starts settling, I'm like, see ya. And you're like, why can't I stay in a normal relationship? This is so weird. Can't be me.
Yeah, exactly. And then you sit there and you're like, well, maybe I could have made it work. Like, what could I have done differently? But it's all a lesson too, right? Like,
yeah,
you'll find your one. It's me. All right. So let's talk about how you work with these clients. So once they're here and they're ready to unpack, what are maybe like some of the steps that you might take them through to get them to the results that they're looking for?
The first few steps is always understanding the status quo. So we need to kind of understand what's the territory look like at the moment. For me, that's always looking at what is their design. Every client that I work with, I have the Human Design chart. It's something that I do with my friends as well. If anyone's ever willing to give me their Human Design chart, they're just like, oh, Adina, would it be okay? I'm like, is it okay? I'll write you a whole essay on it.
Wait, are people secretive or worried about showing people results of this? Or
no, the people that I hang out with, I think a lot of the time, like as we're millennials, we're very polite. We don't want to bother anyone, especially as women. And so to me, like when I hang out with friends, I'm like, I would love to have your entire natal chart. I want to know what your rising sign is. I want to know what your human design is. I want to know how you respond well. I want to know what works really well for you. I want to know what your gifts are. And it's part of my makeup as a first line and fifth line profile. I love to investigate things. I love to get to
I love that.
Right.
Yeah. And you're being curious. You're like, you're not here to judge. You're leading with curiosity. Just gotta know.
Yeah. So that's the first step. It's really, when I look at it, I want to understand what does the territory look like on an energetic standpoint. What type do we work with? What does their decision-making process look like energetically? Where is the heaviest conditioning? Again, I'm not going to give a lecture in human design, but we want to understand what centers are defined, what channels are defined, what does their circuitry look like, all of these things. And then I would suggest, once you know your energetic makeup, we want to understand, how did you get to where you are right now? So that I will ask certain questions, help me understand, where is their head at? Like, what is the problem? Why is it a problem, do you think? And these sound like really basic questions, and obviously they come out in conversation. And then once I have the data that I want, because the problem that we experience is never the actual problem.
That's interesting.
So just because I think, oh my God, I haven't found the right team member to take off the work, it's like, okay, well, is that really true? or if I rest, then everything will fall apart. Is that really true? If I tell the team member that doesn't do the work properly, then they'll get pissed at me and then they'll leave, right? Do you see what I mean? It's just like,
Yeah.
it's a problem, it's a valid problem, but very often that's not the actual problem. That's just a perceived reality. And so I am then finding out, okay, well, what is the true problem? And that takes a little bit of digging. But those are the steps that you absolutely want to do. Is you, if you want to do this by yourself, by the way, and if you're into philosophy like I am and into NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, go into Socratic questioning. You can do this yourself. You can Google Socratic questions.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
And so you would just go down the questions.
Yeah.
It would like peel the onion, right? Peel the layers so you figure out what exactly it is. And is
you call it the belief onion.
I was just gonna say, are these just like the limiting beliefs that we've carried through our entire life where we're like, I can't rest because if I'm not doing it, it's not gonna get done and everything's gonna fall apart. I can't take vacation, I can't take time off.
Yeah.
And is there something from your childhood that happened that created that thought? Or did you hear your parents say it? Right? A lot of times that was how your parent was, then you're subconsciously, it's in your mind.
Well, yeah, exactly. You hit the nail on the head. And think about it. Most of the times, the things that we want are the things that we are most afraid to have. And so your mind is specifically, this is fascinating about the human brain. Even though we're so good at logical thinking, the part of the brain that actually accesses the executive function, the prefrontal cortex, is not actually capable of making those decisions that drive our behavior, right? And so if you really think about it, I remember when I first learned these concepts for the very first time, I'm like, well, that's stupid. I want this thing. Of course, I'm not afraid of having it. But when you really dig into it, it's like, what could possibly be the reason? Like, if there was any reason that I could be afraid of having an increase in clients, of having more fame, of having more success, like whatever it is that I want, a better relationship, what could possibly go wrong? Right? And then like,
this is interesting. This is crazy.
Right? What could possibly go wrong if I got the thing that I say I want? And it is very rare that you truly sit there and it's just like, well, nothing's wrong. It's just like, well, if nothing's wrong, then you would have the thing.
So it's interesting. So I literally just posted this on my Facebook the other day and I asked people, what is the one thing that I think I phrase it like, what's the one thing you could have today that would be life changing for you, right? Some people put 100K, some people put 500K, somebody said a new spouse.
It makes such a big difference in your professional life. They're interlinked.
Yeah, right? It's so interesting. Well, I went to his Facebook profile and I definitely saw he was married. And I was like, oh, I hope she didn't read this. But do they fear having that? Is that why they haven't reached that yet? Like, is there a subconscious fear about, gosh, if I did have $500,000, that's scary.
Yeah.
Right?
For most people, that is truly, again, you can't paint everyone with the same brush, but for 99% of the cases, that is generally true. Because if you think about it, if subconsciously, if deep underneath, it's not conscious, there would be no problem and there would be no fear. You'd already either have it or be well on your way of having it.
Wow.
So it's like, what could you possibly be afraid of happening if you got $1 million? For most people, and I'm going to give some arbitrary examples, if you start digging, once you get the subconscious answers, it's very much like, oh, but then I have to pay more taxes, or what if my family takes it all, or these kinds of things. And then you're like, oh, okay, why could that be a bad thing? And then you start digging deeper. It's just like, okay, well, if I get this thing, I'm afraid of losing it all.
Yeah.
That's like one example, right? Okay, well, what does that then mean? Well, if I lose it all, then what's the point of fucking doing the work in the first place? Okay, now we're getting. Do you see?
Yeah, it's definitely fear. Yeah. And also what came up for me when you said that was the scarcity mindset, right? I have it. Now let me just hold on to it. Like there's no next step. There's no do it again. There's put it in a savings account where it's safe and it's not going anywhere, right? And that's scarcity. That's not living in the abundance mindset. So that's what came up for me when you said that. And I could definitely see, I think a lot of times for me too is like the judgment, because growing up we were taught like money is the root of all evil, and I was raised Catholic. So
Yeah.
it's really hard to unlearn some of that. And hey, mom and dad, I actually, listen, I told my mom and dad to watch this video because I told them you were, and my father is German. And so actually, Adina, I need you to pronounce our last name on video. So it's the English way. How we pronounce it has been wrong for my entire life. Kurtz, and it's Kurtz. Kutz. So, mom and dad, if you're listening, last name is Kutz.
I love
I think you're actually, we might even be related because you're German. And our hair, do you see our hair is cut the same?
it. Might be.
A little bit of bangs. And I think when we talked last, I had darker hair because
You
I'm
did.
lightening it. It's funny that you talked about hair. I'm like, I literally lightened it.
When I talk about human design, I always try and find relatable examples, right? And I'm like, well, it's
Yeah.
you're talking about 5 types, Adina. How can 5 types be, because that's how many types we have in human design. How can 5 types tell you how you uniquely designed? I'm like, that's like the top of the iceberg. That's like nothing. That's like saying all blondes are the same or all black haired women are. Right?
Got it.
You know what? Aside from my bad choice in metaphors, I'm sure it worked somehow.
I get them. I understand. Okay. It takes a lot of work to come up with great metaphors. So why do it? Just kind of explain what you're trying to say. Well, let's get into the 5 types. Do you want, because if you're a newbie like me in human design, I've heard about it like super often. I just haven't, I don't know. I need to find the space to learn more about it. So I've got the expert here, Adina. She's going to explain what are those 5 types.
So the 5 types are kind of like the first thing that if you look into your human design that you get into contact with, they basically share the role that you're here to play. Think about it like if we're looking at a screenplay, we've got the role, the character, and then the storyline. And so we've got the generators who are what we consider the doers. They're the ones who build things. They're the ones who are here to show us what it looks like to build things with pure, unadulterated joy. They're here to be the masters of whatever it is that they choose to be their craft, right? Then we've got the manifesting generators who are a hybrid of this and another type. And the manifesting generators are some of the fastest types out there. And they're really here to be very multi-passionate. They're the people who are here to be the masters of shortcuts. They're not here to go like the generators. The generators are here to like get in the details and get really masterful at the thing. The manifesting generators basically get to the same point the generators get to, just a little bit faster, because they're here to skip steps. And
are they the quantum leapers?
Everyone can quantum leap. We're just talking about like, because not everyone needs to be a master at everything, right? Sometimes
all right, got it.
You need to know how to skip the right steps. Like just like I need to have a bookkeeper for my business, but do I need to do bookkeeping? No, but in the beginning I needed to know the right steps in order to do it.
Got it.
Right?
Okay, awesome. So
your manifesting generators are really the masters of skipping the right steps, because they're really here to have multiple projects at the same time. For manifesting generators, if you have any people in business who are manifesting, it rarely works for people.
Yeah. I feel that. I feel that for me, because the program that I've been in is like, you need to niche down. You need to be very specific. I'm like, I love so many things.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me start a podcast and I could just talk about whatever I want.
There you go. So you might find that either you relate to or have specific configurations that give you some of these characteristics, or that you might be a manifesting generator. Then the third type is a manifester. The manifester is really the only type, and I should have probably said this as well, that the generators in the manifesting generators, they're here to respond to life. So this is really where you get a lot of the flow, like through people in the external world, signs, adverts, telephone calls, like anything, you respond all the time. And they're really here to bring ideas to form, is a really good way of putting it. They're the people who start something new. They're one of the rarest types. They're like 7 to 9% of the world population. They really create. they're also not team players. If you ever see a manifester in a job, they're like, just leave me alone and let me do my thing. And when you do that, they're great. But if they're forced to work in a team, unless there are specific configurations where they have a tribal or collective circuitry, then very often they're just like, just leave me alone and let me do my thing. Adele.
Wow. And that's frowned upon, right? That would be totally frowned upon, where if they just understood.
Yeah, but it's the same with the manifesting generator. It's also frowned upon to not finish every single detail, right? And it's like, so very often manifesting generators get told, just finish what you started. That's not what they're here for.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Same with the manifester. They're not here to finish everything they start. It just depends on the specific configuration. Some manifestors can. Again, it depends on your specific wiring. This is just the type. Then we have I'm a projector. The projectors are here to be the leaders and the guides. They're not here to work 9 to 5. Neither do manifestors or reflectors. So they're really here to guide and oversee and lead people into their own personal success, right? They make great coaches. Projectors make fantastic coaches and therapists. They can also be anything they want, but they make great coaches. So that's the projectors. Projectors are here to wait for the invitation and recognition. So for projectors in business, for instance, traditional marketing doesn't really work the way that it's taught, because it's very much like, oh, that didn't happen and it doesn't work, which is how I found that friction. Wow. And the last type is the reflectors. They're the rarest. They're the 1% of the entire world population. And they really here to understand, how can we keep the community healthy? How can we keep it thriving? They sample the community as a whole, and they're really important because reflectors are really honest, and most people, like, they get rubbed on the wrong way because reflectors know exactly what needs to happen to increase the health of the community. But obviously a lot of people don't like that, because you have to face what isn't working, right? So we talk about it again, the acceptance of, oh, well, maybe I am chasing boredom, like maybe I am chasing like the thrill, and then I just bolt every time, right? So reflectors are here to sample all of that and then help us create a healthier community. And they're really here to sometimes, like, they have a slow decision-making cycle where they are told to wait up to 28 days to make a decision. If they're forced to make spontaneous decisions for big for big things, like don't like if it's like, oh, do you want to go out for dinner tonight? Like, don't wait 28 days, obviously, right? But for like, you want to move to a different country? Do you want to accept this job? Like big.
All right. So you are a projector. Let's get into your story. What happened with your 9 to 5 and why did you get into this? Do you want to tell us a little bit?
Let me see if I can give you like the shortlisted, the abridged version. Let me see. I finished school and I was one of these kids that never knew, like, I wanted to do everything. I wanted, like, as a really small child, I'm like, I'm going to be a princess working for NASA and I'm going to help save the animals. That kind of girl, right? I'm like, oh, nothing's too big. But the thing is, you turn, so I did my, what I call Abitur, which I think is like A-level/college. I don't really know what the equivalent is in the, so I did that, and everyone around me was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to study this and I'm going to study that. And I just never knew. And so I don't have an official university degree. And so I decided, you know what, let's just go to the UK, become an au pair. And then I decided I'll stay there. And so I took whatever job I could get. And one of them was a corporate job. So I went into IT sales because you don't need any qualifications for sales. So I worked in that industry for a very long time. And then over the years, what has basically transpired is that I am actually really good at sales. And so I don't know if you know how the original corporate structure works, but for us back in the days, it was call sheets, right? So you had to have you have to do like your 20 to 40 calls a day, and then you have to like talk 2 hours a day.
Scripted, exactly laid out. You couldn't veer off of it, right? Yeah.
So, and it was more important to my employers back then that I would do my 40 calls so that I can get my sales and my 2-hour talk time. I didn't quite agree with this because I was given a list and I was responsible for the German region. And I'm like, well, why do I need to speak to the end users when we have resellers and distributors who already know them? So I'm like, I'm just going to cut out at least half of the work, speak to like 4 or 5 people, which is the distributors, be like, hey, have you spoken to these people? And instead of making 10 calls, I made 2 calls because these 2 work with 5 and these 2 work with 5, right? So it was about efficiency.
Yeah.
But my employers didn't like that. They're just like, don't do that. And I'm like, but I consistently overachieve. Every quarter, I am 100%. Shouldn't that matter?
Right.
Right? And it's just like, yeah, but that's not how we do things here. That's not how we measure success. And I'm like, my success is measured by the revenue I bring in, and I consistently overachieve. Shouldn't that matter? How I do it should not matter. No, that's not how we do things here. So this is how I then was.
Maybe you're doing things wrong, right?
Yeah, like maybe how you do things isn't working, which again is such a projected trait. We're here to make things better. We're here to be efficient, right?
Yeah.
As a projector. But at that point, I didn't know it. So then I was just like, oh my God, I can't wait to work for myself, because I'm really good at understanding the mind, how human behavior works. And sales was never about how can I feature vomit on you to give you most of, like, you know, the like typical sales training of like, sell me this pen. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Go
but also, who are you, right? It's not about the pen. It's about the person that is buying it, right? So is that what your human design, your knowledge and expertise in that is like, well, tell me the person that I'm selling to, and then I'll sell you the pen, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, is what I'm offering to you even something that's of benefit to you? That should be my prerogative. I need to find out.
Yeah.
Right?
So true.
Right? And so eventually I'm just like, I can just teach people this. I can teach people how to sell without feeling like an asshole, without sounding like, you know, every bro marketer out there who tells you just like hammer out 100 DMs a day. I'm just like, oh, yeah. If you want to feel yourself, sure. And also, if you want to feel like you've completely wasted your day and everyone else's day, also sure. You know what? If you want to be, you just go on and live your best life. But for most people that I know, especially women in business, it doesn't really work that way. So there's this identity part, there's a psychology part, there's the part of us that, again, when we look at social conditioning, for most women, business is a little bit harder. It used to be a little bit harder for women because we've been conditioned to always be the good girl, to put other people first, to be profitable, to not be arrogant, to not speak too much, right? Be seen and not heard. And suddenly those women, we've learned, oh no, I want to build my own business. Make that person ask for money for the first time. I bet you they will discount it for free.
Yeah.
Right?
It's absolutely true.
Ruffle feathers.
I feel that when you say that. I'm like, no, I'll do it for free. Yes, I can create the whole 50 pages for you for free. Like, you know, it's insane.
Yeah. And on top of that, oh, that's not enough. You haven't told me that this is good and you're not willing to offer me money. Okay, well, let me see if I can break myself a little bit further. So maybe then you will decide that I am good enough.
Wow.
Right?
So powerful.
This is how I got into, this is the abridged version of how I went into corporate to doing this, because I just did not see how, we don't learn this at school. I did not understand how we ever think that it was a good idea, or we ever think that one person can have the answer to an individual person's success, right? So you see the like, oh, follow this 3-step formula and then you'll make this much money. And this is follow this exact formula for this course or for this agency. And the thing is, it's not that the formulas are wrong. They are correct for those people. They are correct for people who operate at that same level that they operate. And that's great. It's just, maybe this is not correct for you. So how do you find out what is correct for you? Well, we find out what your design is, how you're energetically designed to work, and also what behavioral patterns activate or are present that currently limit you from accessing that. And then you get to choose.
Wow. It sounds so simple. And it's like, where has this been?
It is simple, but it's not easy.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I'm sure there are like so many layers. Like you said, this is just the top of this is the icing on the cake, right? But there's so many different things that, oh yeah, I know you could talk about this for days.
I am very much in danger of being like, right.
But I know, like your life, your 9 to 5, like served you, right? So you're not saying, I could see it in your body, or you're like, I worked this 9 to 5 corporate. I could tell like you were drained by it. You're like, oh, it was horrible. But you've also like used that to help make greater impact for other people in business. And I can tell it really lights you up. So that's super excited when you talk about like human design, and maybe you wouldn't have never figured out like this is where you're supposed to be had you not have that experiences.
Well, I wouldn't have. Even before I knew human design, if you really think about it, human design teaches me how do I make decisions that are aligned for me. Okay. And going to England was never a logical decision. It was not on paper. It was the worst decision I could have made. Here it is, Adina, 19 years old, grew up in the sticks in the arse end of nowhere in Germany. I shit you not, right? I knew nothing. And yeah, suddenly what? I want to move country where I know no one, where I only speak the language. I mean, I could write you a whole political essay in English, because in Germany you learn English very, very early. But when it comes to conversational English, my host mom, when I was an au pair, she's like, "Can you stir the soup?" I'm like, "What does stirring mean? What's a kettle?" Because they don't, or they didn't back then when I was in school. They didn't.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not a quote unquote good idea to go to a different country for a 19-year-old woman as well.
How scary.
Right. And I'm like, no, I have to do this. This is right. And thank God
did you just feel it?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's part of, like, if I had known that that was part of how I am designed to make decisions, because I'm an emotional decision maker, I'm an emotional projector in human design. So that means my primary modality of making decisions, I have another one, a splenic one. My primary modality of making decisions is emotional. I'm never going to be 100% certain. I need to sleep on it. If I make decisions in the moment and they're big decisions, very rarely are they ones that are going to work out great.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel that for sure. For sure. And I think my last partner didn't understand that. I was like, I need to sit and think about this.
Yeah.
He was like, no, we need to talk about it now and come to it. No, we don't.
No.
Like, you're doing yourself a disservice by not allowing me to have the space to think about that.
Yeah. I need to marinate.
Super. Yeah. So how long have you been in the UK now?
Since 1st of November 2008. So if I was any good at math, I could tell you.
And you absolutely love it, right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. So I feel this yearning because I need to leave Maryland. I don't know. Something tells me that I need to leave. And I keep ignoring it, right? Or I start a new relationship and I'm like, oh, now I'm dating someone. I don't want to leave. I'm doing it this year. 2026 is the year, because I feel like there's something freaking waiting for me wherever I'm supposed to be next. For that, I'm excited about.
Trust that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm super excited because it's been years. It's been forever. I don't know. And I'm like, no, my parents are here. Huh?
Do you know where the pull is taking you?
I feel like it's taking me to Florida or Texas. And not only that, is like real estate investing is big for me. And I know those are great areas to be in. And they're warm and they're sunny and I can hop in a pool at the end of the day. Like, that's all I want, a really chill, relaxing life. But I love the hustle and bustle of real estate investing. And I could still do like my online coaching and podcasting online. So I'm like, I feel like I figured it out. Is it going to be hard moving with 4 kids and pets? Yeah, but choose your hard. I'm depressed in this winter snow that we're getting right now.
It's harder to stay where you are when you don't like it, right? It's like you said, choose your hard.
Choose your hard 100%. Oh my gosh. So good. This is so fantastic. I feel like, so I'll tell you what I've been doing, Adina. Every time I am like, let me dig into this, I just hit record and I've been sharing it with people. So there will be another video that's like, Liz is trying to figure out who she is, human design. Let's go down this rabbit hole. And I'm like, come along with me, because I haven't figured everything out, right? I don't feel like anybody has. I'm just like, I love sharing my experiences and my craziness. And I love this, that we're getting to go back and forth. This has been so, so fantastic. So much more we could unpack, but the hour is almost up. And I always give the opportunity to our guests to let the listeners of She Elevates podcast, the ones that are listening right now. And if you made it to the end of this video, tell us in the comments right now that you want a part 2, because it's been super fantastic. Adina, what is the final message you want to let the listeners know of She Elevates podcast?
There are so many messages that I always want to impart, but I think one of the big ones is really, ultimately it always comes down to nothing's wrong with you. Like, you're not weird, you're not broken. There's probably a reason that you are acting and behaving and feeling the way that you feel. And it sounds very cheesy when I say it this way, but this is how I got into human design. I'm like, why isn't this working for me? Why isn't this? It's just like nothing was wrong with me. There was like, just because this particular way wasn't working doesn't mean that I was doing the work. And so I think, especially for the She Elevates podcast, when I think about it, it's like so many women probably think like, oh, what's wrong with me? No, nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. I love it. Yeah, I wonder if like we even need to turn around this like concept of healing. Like, are you really healing? What are you healing from? Like, maybe that's just what's supposed to happen and you're still perfect. Like like you said, you're not broken. And a lot of women, even me, I was like, I'm the victim. I'm broken. I've been scorned by this person, whatever. But that's such a beautiful message. And we've got a lot of work to do, right? Like you said, it sounds so simple, but it's not easy.
It isn't easy. I mean, I'm still walking through the glass shells of it all. And the thing is, in a way, you don't want it to stop either, right? Because the second you stop growing through something, you stall. And so anything that is stagnant rots.
That is so true. That's so true. Yeah. If you're not moving forward, the momentum is not there. It's just going to deplete. Like everything is gone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree. We're not trying to get to any final result here because the final result, we all know where we end up. Like,
Yep.
that's it. Enjoy the journey, enjoy the
Yes.
process. So beautiful.
100%.
Awesome. Adina, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sharing your message with the She Elevates community. And thank you for being so open and vulnerable and sharing your beautiful story. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been great.
I created something powerful for the woman who's tired of playing small. If you're done surviving and you're ready to rise, this is for you. It's called the She Elevates Blueprint, a 7-day transformational guide to help you reclaim your power, reset your mindset, and redesign your life from the inside out. We're talking confidence, clarity, boundaries, money, love, healing, purpose, every area of your life. Each day, you'll get a journal prompt, an aligned action, an affirmation, and a voice note from me, yours truly. So it feels like I'm right there cheering you on. You're going to feel seen. You're going to feel grounded. And by day 7, you won't even recognize you. If you've been waiting for a sign to elevate your life, this is it. Tap the link, download your free copy of the She Elevates Blueprint, and let's step into your next level together. You're not alone. You're not broken. You're becoming. Let's rise, my queen. Thank you for tuning in to the She Elevates podcast. I hope today's episode poured into you, reminded you of your power, and gave you something to take with you on this journey of elevation. Share it with a friend, your sister, your tribe, because when one of us rises, we all rise. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you're feeling generous, leave a review. It helps more women find this movement and step into their highest self. Want more? Come hang with me over on Instagram at Liz Rankin Elevates, or join our free She Elevates community on Facebook, where we heal, grow, and glow together. Until next time, remember this: you're not behind, you're not broken, you're becoming. Keep rising, queen. Your next level is already calling.